Today is the Feast of All Saints, the Feast of All Hallows, the ones who've been made holy. It's the same old-fashioned word we'll pray in just a few minutes. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Holy be your name. Today is the day the church invites us to look with special intention on those who've gone before us, to be mindful of those whose lives, in ways great and small, have given witness to the love of God, and who now are made fully and completely holy because they stand in the full presence of God in ways that we can only glimpse. They are the big name, capital S saints, like St. Mary and St. Peter and St. Mark, the patron saint of our parish. But they are also the saints known to us more directly, the ones whose beloved faces flashed across our screens just now as the service began, the ones we lost long ago, and the ones we've lost so recently that their absence threatens some days to swallow us up completely. The ones we've lost right here in our own parish during this year that was already spectacularly difficult and challenging in more ways than we can even name. There are Saints Dorothy and Mary Lou, Saint Jeremy and Saint Violet. And if we let our hearts bear to think of them, there are the more than 500,000 of our siblings in the human family, each beloved of God, who have died from COVID-19 and who are dying even now, this morning, as we take time to worship God. The Feast of All Saints reminds us in such a powerful way that those we love but see no longer, as the prayer book has it, are nonetheless here, alive and well, if we look with the eyes of faith, that the great cloud of witnesses surrounds us always, wherever we are. And oh, do we need that reminder in this terribly difficult season. We need to know that God's love is still real, that this thing we name each week in the words of the Nicene Creed, the communion of saints, is not merely some theological proposition, but something real and actual and present. We need the reminder that others have been through trying and difficult times, just as despairing as our present moment may feel, and that they are now with us, cheering us on, praying for us before the throne of God, sending us their wisdom and strength, saying to us, you will make it no matter what comes, because death really, truly does not have the last word. Your world may be rocking, but trust us, we now fully understand that your real security lies in God's love, that love itself really is the strongest power in the universe, really is the thing that will save you. We understand because we now see face to face, not simply through a glass darkly, the way you still do. That last is a reminder specifically from St. Paul, from the words he wrote to the Christians in Corinth, the ones with whom he now gathers and by whom we are now surrounded. And I bet if we lean in and listen, we can hear some other words of wisdom. We can hear St. Mary saying, just open your lives, say yes to the invitation of God. Be it done to me according to your word. If you do, she's saying, it's not just your own life that can change, but the life of the whole world. Or maybe St. Julian of Norwich, whose life here on earth was full of pandemic and political unrest, so like the one we're facing in the year 2020. Lean in, St. Mark's, and hear her say, all shall be well, and and all shall be well, and all manner of thing shall be well. Hear Saint Teresa of Avila remind you that Christ has no body but yours, no hands, no feet but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks compassion on this world. You are the feet with which he walks to do good. Your hands, your feet, your eyes. Can you imagine? Can you feel it? Dare you do it? Hear St. Francis of Assisi tell you that all creation sings God's praise, is made as you are made to praise. And use that truth to power your work to save this fragile earth, our island home, to remind you what a holy and urgent task that really is. Hear St. Francis when his words, and more importantly, his life, echo the words that we have from St. Matthew this morning, the words of Jesus himself. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Take note, as Francis would surely remind you to, that Jesus does not say here, blessed are the peaceable or blessed are the peaceful, but rather, blessed are the peacemakers, the ones who work for it, who strive for justice and peace, as our baptismal covenant has it, the ones who give their lives to it, the ones who sometimes give their very lives for it, just like some in that cloud of witnesses. Because remember, the word martyr, those who died for their faith, means simply that, witness. Hear what the author of 1 John has to say in the second lesson appointed for today. See what love the Father has given us, that we should be called children of God, and that is what we are. Beloved, we are God's children now. What we will be has not yet been revealed. It hadn't been revealed to them then, but it has been now. Hear St. Howard Thurman of Berkeley echo some of that thought in his call to us to become the beloved community that we already are, if we only could see it, if only our lives would bear it out. Hear St. Martin Luther King of Atlanta remind us that the moral arc of the universe bends toward justice. Can we believe it? Dare we? Even when the world around us seems to shout something else? Take this morning and listen deeper, St. Mark's. Take heed of the wisdom that resounds from this great cloud, which bears witness to the love and power of God. Hear the words of St. John of Patmos as he shares his vision of this great body, gathered around the throne of the Most High, the ones, he says, who have made it through the most difficult time they could have imagined. A great ordeal, he says. And now here they are, alive, well, surrounding the God they trusted to get them through. There are no more tears, no hunger, no thirst. The Lamb is now their shepherd. And perhaps the best news of all, the hope we most need to take hold of in our desperately divided and divisive times. Hear it now. It was, describes St. John, a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, from all tribes and people and languages. Our true home is one where we can all live together. Our truest nature, the fullest and deepest truth of how we were created and who we are called to become, is a people living together in peace, woven together as one, not just in the future, but now. We know this in our bones, don't we? if only we get still enough to truly listen. And part of what this feast day reminds us is that this community of love extends not just around the world, but through time. It's what the collect appointed for the day puts into prayer words. You have knit together your elect in one communion and fellowship in the mystical body of your Son. Knit us together, taken the disparate strands of our lives and knit them together, made them inseparable, part of a single fabric that not even death can render asunder, that can't pull it apart. God has taken those divine knitting needles and woven us together, those of us still here on earth and those who are now part of that great throng. God has knit us together. So here's what I think, St. Mark's. We should take that knitted shawl and wrap it around ourselves this morning. We should use it to keep us warm in this moment in history that can seem so cold. We should wrap ourselves in what God has knitted together. And in fact, know ourselves to be part of that blessed fabric, the fabric that holds us together, can hold our country and the world together, that is meant to keep every child of God warm and comforted. The fabric is made of so many who glimpsed in their lives, but now see fully the truth that we are one, that the universe is shot through with love, that there is more to the world than what our earthly eyes can see, that we are never, ever alone, because God and that great cloud of witnesses are always by our side. The task now is to live as if we believe it. Amen.